Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Richard, and the STP we're about to be looking at today is SCP-2377, Object Class Safe, Special Containment Procedures. Containment Site 2377 has been constructed around SCP-23771's location. Manipulation of local economic infrastructure has been implemented to reduce residential and industrial population density in the immediate area of Containment Site 2377. Following the events documented in Incident Report 237701, on-site personnel requirements have been adjusted to at least 12 members of Mobile Task Force Beta 19, gargoyles at the diner at all times, at least 2 containment specialists with security clearance level 3 or higher at all times, at least 2 researchers with security clearance level 2 or higher at all times, at least 2 field agents with security clearance level 2 or higher at all times. A minimum of 3 personnel are to be within SCP-23771 at all times to witness and document SCP-2377 scenarios. Personnel assigned to Containment Site 2377 are to undergo monthly psychiatric evaluations and may submit applications for reassignment. Exposure to SCP-23771 has not shown anomalous detrimental effects. Future attempts by civilians to access SCP-23771 are to be met with non-lethal force by MTF Beta 19 when possible, without risking containment breach or containment personnel safety. Detainment of these individuals for interrogation is considered optimal resolution of such incidents, but lethal force is authorized when deemed necessary. Detainees may be treated with a Class B amnestic and released after interrogation or detained off-site if ongoing investigation is deemed important. Description: SCP-2377 is an audio-visual phenomenon localized within a single house designated SCP-23771, and it is not yet understood how SCP-2377 manifests, but research into primary mimetic, esoteric, and technological theories is ongoing. The phenomenon consists of the appearance of 2 individuals who were intangible to those within SCP-23771, but are fully tangible to one another. SCP-2377 scenarios occur at irregular intervals. Footnote 1. Recorded intervals have ranged between 9 hours and 14 days. Or 9 hours and 14 days. But all scenarios depict cases of a homicide with specific shared attributes. The perpetrator of the homicide and the victim, designated SCP-2377A and SCP-2377B respectively, are the only individuals to appear within SCP-23771 at a given time. The appearance of one or both signifies the beginning of an SCP-2377 scenario. Footnote 2. The durations of SCP-2377 scenarios have ranged between 3 minutes and 6 days. Clear homicidal intent in SCP-2377A is always present, as assessed by Foundation personnel who have witnessed a scenario. Instances of SCP-2377A and SCP-2377B are unique to each scenario. This was stricken from the document. Footnote 3. See Addendum 06-21-2000. Since the beginning of SCP-2377 monitoring, 95 of the 178 victims displayed in SCP-2377 scenarios have later been confirmed as deceased. Footnote 4. Cause of death, as determined by local authorities, has in almost every case been considered unnatural, while a majority have also been labeled as homicides, and frequent determinations of accident or suicide to occur within the same time window as their associated scenario. The remaining 83 victims have not, as of yet, been identified, but are presumed deceased. In the cases of confirmed deceased SCP-2377-B instances, SCP-2377-A instances have been identified and suspected or arrested of the homicide. It is currently theorized that all SCP-2377 scenarios are happening simultaneously within SCP-23771 and at their origin locations. Depicted scenarios have thus far only been confirmed as occurring in similarly freestanding housing structures to that of SCP-23771, apartment buildings, condominiums, duplexes, and other multi-residential constructs do not seem to facilitate SCP-2377 scenarios. SCP-2377 scenarios, which have been identified to have all occurred within approximately 1,200 kilometers of SCP-23771, while SCP-2377 scenarios are visible to all within SCP-23771. Looking into SCP-23771 from the outside produces no result to date. Instances of SCP-2377 has not been successfully recorded by any format except human observation. To date, SCP-2377-B has been killed in every recorded scenario with no deviation. In addition, only 6 scenarios have included SCP-2377-B succeeding in killing SCP-2377-A in their attempts at self-defense. Certain patterns seem apparent but not requisite of SCP-2377 instances. At least 152 of the recorded instances have been classified as home invasion or domestic disturbance scenarios, and nearly 90% of perpetrators have been identified as male. SCP-2377 scenarios where the origin location's floor plan differs significantly from that of SCP-23771 in the size or style seem to account for the discrepancy. If either SCP-2377-A or SCP-2377-B would move to a room that SCP-23771 doesn't contain a direct analog of one or both will fade from visibility briefly before reappearing in the room of closest possible correspondence. Within SCP-23771, audio is not interrupted during these periods, although volume levels have been documented to experience shifts. Residential history of SCP-23771 shows no connections to any previously known GUI or PUI in Foundation records, or groups of interest or persons of interest in Foundation records. SCP-23771 came to the attention of the Foundation personnel after reports were picked up in a monitored regional IRC chat room frequented by nursing industry professionals. These reports described a transient individual who had been illegally residing within SCP-23771, making a scene at Memorial Hospital. Regarding 3 homicides he had claimed to witness, the transient individual was now remanded on the scene by local authorities and has not yet been recovered. He has since been classified Person of Interest 237701. Procurement of SCP-23771 was completed on 10/14/1990 via Shinuku Complex Properties, a Foundation front company. It is unknown when SCP-2377 first manifested or the number of instances that may have occurred before official documentation began, but public record shows that SCP-23771 have been officially vacant for approximately 3 years before acquisition by the Foundation. Footnote 5. if an initial manifestation is hypothesized to be the cause for the extended vacancy, and SCP-2377 instances have not been increased or decreased by significantly in frequency over time. It is estimated that approximately 32 instances occurred before the Foundation took control of SCP-2377. This number currently cannot be substantiated, but has been approved as a baseline variable for supplemental demographic computations by Foundation research personnel. Due to its inability to independently verify the events that occur during each SCP-2377 scenario. Footnote 6. Foundation resources have not been allocated to confirm or elaborate on the forensic analysis of crime scenes performed by those within the local jurisdiction of confirmed cases. The Foundation has chosen not to disclose information regarding SCP-2377-A instances to local authorities in cases where an SCP-2377-B instance's identity has been confirmed. And then 06/21/2000 comparative analysis of multiple witnesses' physical descriptions of SCP-2377-A instances has led to the designation of person of interest 237702, an individual determined to be responsible for the homicide event in at least SCP-2377 scenarios. The SCP-2377-A instances in these scenarios have uniformly not been identified. Incident Report 237701. On the evening of 08/05/2000, 4 civilians attempted the breach of Containment Site 2377 while not sufficiently trained or armed to pose significant threats to the lives of the MTF Beta 19 members dispatched. To neutralize the situation, the civilians were markedly aggressive and organized in their operation. Suppression was successful. 3 of the 4 civilians, however, were able to commit suicides by means of firearm before being neutralized. The surviving intruder, identified as and hereafter classified as person of interest 237703, was detained and sedated before being moved off-site. Interrogation was conducted in the area on 08/06/2000 by researcher Falconer. Begin log. State your name for the record. Fuck you. You had your wallet on you when you attempted to break into our facility. You're correct? Come again? I said we weren't trying to break into your stupid fucking building. Ah, fair point. You wanted a house. Close enough. If it wasn't the house, then what, mister? You would understand, and don't call me that. What wouldn't we understand? What do you think you know about what happens in the house? What do you know, asshole? You think what happens in there is some shadow play that we're gonna have to spook you. We're here to get spooked or get our rocks off. Doesn't matter to you. See what happened there? Of course it matters to us. Why do you think we watch? Bullshit! You watch because you have the slightest goddamn clue why you can't see them. See him. The man that keeps showing up. Know who he is? Not yet, but we will. We'll find him. He understands he belongs with us, not there by himself like the rest of you. He understands what? What do you mean by we? Alone is alone. What? Fuck it, I'm done here. Why do your compatriots kill themselves? End log. Closing statement. Following this interview, POI 237703 has been designated for permanent detainment of area. Continuous attempts of questioning him have so far been proven useless. After a failed suicide attempt, containment procedures for POI 237703 are being reevaluated. Following incident 237701, on-site personnel requirements have been adjusted to account for potential future attempts at containment breach by groups of equitable or slightly increased power. Designation for a currently unidentified GOI is pending review. Scenario reports 2377. Routine surveillance SCP-23771 on 11/28/2000 was in progress when an SCP-2377 scenario began. The SCP-2377A instances was quickly identified as POI 237702 by multiple personnel who had witnessed previous scenarios. The scenario lasted 16 hours, consulting the longest such occurrence following POI 237702. Shortly before the 2377B instance's expiration, POI 237702 wrote the following message across 2377B back with a black marker. Alone is alone. Following the end of this scenario, a more intensive investigation into the backgrounds of all former residents, incidents of SCP-2377A and SCP-2377B, the civilians who attempted to breach containment in all familial or social connections for each of these has begun. Classification of a new group of interest, hereafter GOI 19177, has been approved. All POI 2377 instances have been designated as presumed involved. SCP-2377A subjects, including POI 237702, are to be designated potential candidates. Priority level for GOI 19177 is classified low at the time of writing. At the time of this writing. I'm sorry, I stuttered a lot. I'm just trying to write this as fast as I can. I need to learn my words better. But that's all, I guess. So, see you later. Bye.